throughout the entire episode, I'm holding this information.
Yeah.
That I put the screw in the tuna. And how comedic can we go as far as like him telling the truth at the end of it all?
I'm all grown up.
Our guest today is an iconic, in every sense of the word, actor, rapper, comedian, writer, and pastor, hailing from the south side of Chicago. 90s kids may recognize him from the back of a Crunch Berries box, as the gym teacher with the saddest life ever, as an eccentric fast food employee with a heart of gold, or even as a boy who just loves orange soda. Ladies and gentlemen, give us your best. Here it goes, and give it up for Kel Mitchell.
What's up?
Let's go. Kel, how you doing, my man?
Man, I'm doing good. How you? You good?
I'm great, man. I'm very excited to be doing this. This is the episode that I have been waiting for, that the audience has been waiting for, man. And you know, I want to start off by telling the people how you and I met, which was about 10 years ago. You were doing a show at Flappers in Burbank, a stand-up comedy show.
Yep.
And I was fairly fresh in LA. I was thrilled to see you, man, and I wanted to do Who Loves Orange Soda with you, and I didn't know how you were going to take that. I was like, is that a dick move? I don't know if that's the right thing to say, but it was just the child in me was like, how could I pass up the opportunity to ask? And man, you were just so gracious and warm, and you made that experience just unforgettable. And it was a situation of proving like you should meet your heroes. It's not all, you know what I mean? And you really like took my expectation and elevated it, man. And you have just always been that person. So thank you,
man. Thank you. Hey, no problem, man. I'm always like grateful, and you know, for the fans and hearing their stories and what the show meant to them, you know. So I never, you know, am rude when it comes to that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No doubt, man.
Who loves orange soda?
Oh, Kel loves orange soda.
Is it true?
Mm-hmm. I do. Oh.
I know when you were a kid, your parents put you in community theater to keep you out of trouble, and you played Martin Luther King and MC Hammer in the same play. You did Too Legit to Quit.
Yeah.
Man. Does someone have that on video?
I have it on video. I gotta find it because it's on VHS, and it's like I've been like trying to find it so I could post this thing. But so much fun, bro. I remember the play was called Amazing Grace, and I got to be MC Hammer and Martin Luther King in the same play. And it was just kind of showing Black history and throughout the years within the play. And it went all the way from like Martin Luther King, civil rights, all that stuff, all the way up to MC Hammer, you know, at that time, you know. And so that was someone that I looked up to, still do, and I performed in my 8th grade in that 8th grade play, and it was off the chain. Like the younger kids that were at my school really thought I was Hammer. That's how crazy it was.
Right? Yeah. You were going off, man. Clearly, and you said your sister had you looking right. She did your hair like Hammer.
Did my hair like Hammer. I had the parts in there because you know he had like 5 parts on each side.
Yeah.
You know, had it curled up. My sister, still, I talked to her earlier today. You know, she's at a salon, owns her own salon. So, yeah, man, shout out to Kenyatta, my older sister. It got me right.
Let's go, man. Speaking of that performance as Hammer, you had a rap group that you put together called Aftermath that nobody ever really talks about. But I vividly remember, you know, that performance on All That, your track Chillin'. And I remember kind of being mind blown by, like, it was not the Kel that I knew. I was like, oh, there's a whole separate facet to this dude where he can spit, like spit, you know. He's not just a comedian. So tell me about a little bit, like, when did you form Aftermath? Were the other two dudes like your day one homies from school? I mean, how did it come together?
Man, shout out to Dwight and Fred. Those my boys. You know what I mean? We still stay in contact today.
Love it.
Yeah, man. We grew up in the same neighborhood, and I was in the hip hop first. So I was a B-boy, I break dance. Shout out to IMK, Immortal Masters of Krylon. So, I'm an artist. I'm in my office right now while I paint in my office and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I loved hip hop, still love hip hop, but we break dance. We did everything, break dancing, DJing, rapping, the whole thing. And so when the show came along, it was just like I was still rapping and I still had my group. So I was like, yo, we got to have a group on the show and we got to perform. And that was just an awesome thing to like fly them out to Florida because that's where we were shooting the show at first, and fly them out there and and perform. And on my last episode of all that, I performed again with Aftermath, but we just called the Math at that point, and we performed.
Right.
Again. But a lot of people don't know that was my last episode. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So did you guys? I mean, did you guys have that name for it and everything before you even got on the show?
Yeah. So here's the crazy story about this. I still talk about this to this day. So I had the name Aftermath before Dr. Dre. Like,
right.
And it's documented obviously because we performed on all that,
Yeah, 95.
And right. And so before he even thought of Aftermath, and I remember we were getting, the license and all that stuff like that for the name, and it wasn't on there because when he came out with Aftermath Records, we were like, yo, well, we're Aftermath. But at the time we were trying to get signed. It was a whole thing like, do we go up against Dre? What do we do? You know what I mean? Type of thing. And so we kind of just left it alone, and just changed the name. But and now looking back, I'm like, oh, yo, I should have been like, yo, we got the name. You know what I
mean? we were first in the marketplace in trademark terms.
Yeah, that'd have been dope. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. But man, who knows? He might have not kept it and changed it, but who knows?
Did you guys ever actually officially release Chillin' or any other records?
Yeah, man. So what happened was we started getting known in Chicago. We were on GCI. They played us, which was cool. And then we had a song. I had a song Interscope. So when I did the movie Mystery Man, we had a song called "Who Are Those Mystery Men?" And so that was a great song that was going around. I had already did a record with Immature called "Watch Me Do My Thing."
That you performed that at Kids Choice Awards.
Yeah, Kids Choice Awards, performed it on all that as well. That was on the Billboard charts. And so it was a situation where it was kind of like, should we do Ed put out his own album? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because a lot of people think like Watch Me Do My Thing was on the Good Burger soundtrack, and it wasn't.
Right.
Good Burger was popping way before the movie. And all the musical guests wanted to be in a Good Burger sketch.
Right.
So we had put out the All That soundtrack. And this was like, I want to say that was the second season of All That, I feel. But it was all the artists that were on there. We did it through Loud Records. And so I did the song with Immature for that. And Ed was spitting. And it's funny because a lot of the TikTok, they found it. And like, they're playing it now. But so I was still part of my rap group as well. And so, and then later we had the song on the Mystery Man soundtrack, the movie I did with Ben Stiller. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Did you guys give it like a serious push to try and to get signed? Like, did you start getting calls from labels after the All That performance? Like, how did it go? Yeah, I mean, that really helped with the Interscope. You know what I mean? The Interscope of it all and getting on the soundtrack. But that's where it ended because at that point, then we all kind of went our different ways. You know what I mean? At that point, because now it was like, I want to say it was $2.99 at that point. You know what I mean? And so everybody kind of went their own different ways. But yeah, we pushed it like we did. And I feel like if it was now, it probably would have been a whole different type of ball game. You know what I mean? Yeah. Right. Yeah, because there's so many. There's a lot less barriers to entry now. Yeah.
Yeah. Real talk. But yeah, man, that was a fun time.
I could not watching it back now, bro. I could not believe you got away with "Hot as a Blunt" on all that. It was like something like shaking your rump. I'm hot as a blunt. I was like, oh damn. Let that slide.
That was the old Kel. That was the old back in the day.
For sure. Yeah.
But we had a lot of like different artists like Ice Cube and a whole bunch of different artists that were on there. And and it's funny because people look up the performances now and they're like, yo, they had them on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, shout out to our music department and all the, talent that we had on the show. Cause we had Everybody, that same people that In Living Color had, Soul Train had, you know what I mean? Saturday Night Live, we had all the same artists
Yo,
on all
at
that.
that point, anybody who was anybody in the music biz passed through all that. Who was your favorite musical guest?
Oh, everybody, man. You talking about Usher. I recently
Yep.
just went to his concert out here. But yeah, Usher, when he was first getting started, Aaliyah, everybody, man, LL Cool J,
Yeah.
TLC did the soundtrack. You know what I mean? So, and
Yeah.
I'm still friends with TLC to this day.
That's amazing.
Just was talking to Chili. So it's just like it's awesome, bro. Like it's really awesome that at one point I was on the L in Chicago listening to everybody in my Walkman, and then getting on all that and being around the artists that I was listening to in my Walkman. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And to be a kid that was rapping and into hip hop and singing as well, it was cool to meet all these artists that I had posters of on the wall. So it was cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Wow.
Yeah.
What a feeling.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, now
Yeah.
you're back into music pretty heavy with a much more spiritual aspect to it, which is cool to see. Do you have plans of releasing an album, a full project, or are you just keeping it to singles now and again? What's the deal?
Yeah, so how that kicked off, I had my devotional, Bless Mode, and because I'm an author as well. And so when I put that book out, I was like, it needs like something with it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
every time I work out, I'm a workout enthusiast. I love working out. And so I listen to Christian hip hop. And I was also, directing music videos for Christian hip hop artists, and also just working with them and listening to their music. And it's a big part of my faith. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna put out a record called Bless Mode with the same title as the book. And it took off. It took off. It was super cool. And then I'm like, everybody's like, yo, you got to put out more music. Put out some more
Yeah.
music. So it's like, because we know you do music, from the 90s and all this stuff like that. And so I said, okay, cool. Yeah, let me do it. So I put out some songs. I think we're definitely talking about doing an album now. Now we're talking about doing like a full album,
Dope.
because all the records have just been, killing. We just dropped Won't Get Blocked, which is, your blessings not getting blocked.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And letting people know that the truth that you talk about God and what he's going to do in your life is so true. And you're not capping, he does what he says he's going to do. And so, yeah, it's just so awesome. It's just to keep telling people to keep going. And I really love doing this type of music because I feel like it just helps people persevere and keep going. We need to smile more. We need to let everybody know we're all brothers and sisters and to keep going, man. So I just love doing it. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. To take it back to childhood a little bit, being that we're currently in spooky season, something I always like to ask my guests, what were some of your favorite Halloween memories as a kid? Favorite costume, things that happened? Like, tell me about it.
And we really don't celebrate Halloween like that here. But I do remember back in the day, you had to watch, if you were going trick or treating, older kids stealing your bags.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you had to run to the doors really quickly from, where I grew up. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
also, too, what was the other thing? I remember I didn't have a costume one year. And so I did like this last minute thing where I had it was this Moe and Curly mask from Three Stooges or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got this mask, but I turned it inside out, and because I'm an artist, so I turned it inside out. I got like a razor and just started cutting on it, making it look like Freddy. And it looked crazy inside out anyway. And I just started drawing on it and putting like the scars on it to make it look like Freddy. And just turned it around, got the glove, had a sweater, and it worked.
That's what's up, man.
That's a memory for me because I made my own mask, my own Freddy mask. Yeah.
Yeah, those are always the best costumes, man. The ones that you make, you express your creativity.
Yeah, real talk.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. You're a sophomore in high school when you auditioned for all that. And I know the story that you arrived late, so you're a little frazzled already. And they ask you if you want to go practice your monologue, and you start knocking over camera cords and shit like on your way out. When you started doing that, did you roll with it in like the classic Kel physical comedy way, or were you just like naturally like, oh shit, I can't believe what I'm doing right now?
No, definitely did it in the physical comedy way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just kind of, natural in a way. You know what I'm saying? Where that it made it funny.
Yeah.
Of course, I was just like, oh no, But then I was so used to being a class clown and things like that. So when
Yeah.
it happened, I was like, oh, I'm gonna make this funny. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
At
yeah.
this point, I had already been doing theater in Chicago. So
Yeah.
I had already been doing theater. So I knew how to work a stage. You know what I mean? Like to work a
Yeah.
stage. Really shout out to Renako Jahi, my drama teacher, because really embodying the character. That's why Ed feels so like his own person. When
Yeah.
I become
Yeah.
Ed, because I come from theater and it's like, it's just not like right here. It's like from top to bottom, what's their story? What do they enjoy? You really create the character and the essence of the character and how they respond. And I put that into like, all my characters that I played on all that and original characters that I create. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so yeah, yeah, definitely.
Well, speaking of the characters, I know that in the audition room is when you busted out characters like Coach Cretan, who was based kind of loosely on your coach, right? And even Ed was maybe a surfer that you do in Chicago. Is that right?
Yeah, man. So with Ed, it was more so like the dude voice. So I love like Saved by the Bell,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
all those different shows like that, Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure. And, me and the homies and my cousins, we would always do like the voice, like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
A dude voice, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, put that in the audition, man, and just did this like, well, dude, how you doing? Yeah, cool. and,
Did
it worked. And then Coach Cretan was based on a coach at my school who was very, very mean all the time. Like he never smiled. He was like, take this ball and shut up, the type of thing. So I did that in the room too, because their whole thing, they thought I was going to do, because they said do impersonations. And so they
right,
thought I was going to do impersonations of people on, TV
right.
and or known comedians. And I did like people that I saw on the L, my teachers, barbershop uncle, everybody that I knew that was on the south side of Chicago, that I love to impersonate to make people laugh. And I just did that, and these turn into these like fun characters.
Did you hit him with the "Oh, the life I live is sad" in the audition room?
No, I didn't do that. No, shout out to our writers. Like when they figured out what I could do, they basically just took, those voices and put it to paper and just created these worlds. So shout out to all our writers. Shout out to Heath and Kevin, who I still rock with today. They killed it with Good Burger too. So
Yeah.
and that was awesome. Yeah.
Did you feel like you had a lot of influence into how the characters were portrayed? I mean, just judging by the type of comedy it was, it seems like a lot of it had to be improv. Correct me if I'm wrong. And of course, maybe that changed. And we'll get into this. Maybe that changed when Brian Robbins left the show and it was more Dan Schneider. But how did you feel about that when it started? Like your creative influence on it?
Yeah, shout out to Brian Robbins. He really got it. You know what I mean? And so it was we just had a blast, man. Like as far as like them letting us go, as
Yeah.
far as with the characters, like saying, hey, what do you think you want to put into this character? I was very physical as far as like physical comedy.
Yeah.
It's all the, the all the comedians that I looked up to, from Jerry Lewis to Tommy Davidson,
Mm-hmm.
Wayne's Brothers, Robert Townsend, Martin, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
these things. So, John Ritter, I really put that in there. And so they let me do, a lot of that, which was great. And I love the freedom that they gave us because it made us, the writers and producers that we are now. That was like the training ground or the origin story for a lot of the sketch comedians that came out of all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You said that you're sort of the kind of moment that you knew that you were done with all that was after you had a bit of a blowout argument with Dan Schneider over the direction that the characters were going. Is that right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And so so obviously that was when you were like, okay, I'm not going back on all that. Did that impact anything on Kenan and Kel? It seems like Dan had a lot less involvement after season 2 because he doesn't have credits going past that point.
That was all around the same time. So we're talking about, because we were doing Kenan and Kel and all that at the same time.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that all stopped at the same time. Yeah, at the same time, both shows. Yeah. So when I left, all that in Kenan and Kel, that was at the same time. Yeah, because I had Mystery Man and I was going on Mystery Man, and so that was all around the same time.
Let's talk Kenan and Kel
Okay.
ending. So two heads are better than none, for all intents and purposes, served as the series finale. Would you agree?
Yeah. I mean, not to for us that wasn't what we wanted, but yeah, you know what I mean.
So, so let's
that
get
was
into that. Yeah, because so
that, yeah.
it was certainly never presented that way, like it was, part of the plan, but that ultimately was the last thing we ever saw with Kenan and Kel. What went down behind the scenes and why did the show officially end? Was it coming from the network? Was it both of you guys sort of wanting to do different things? Like, fill me on how did that finale come about?
Well, it got to the point where contractually we were at the end of the show ending. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was ready to do. Had Mystery Man at the time, and film. I was doing that. That came out, and it was just a thing where collectively everyone just decided not to renew at that point. You know what I mean? And I know that we had. I'm trying to remember because Kenan and I had a 3-picture deal with Paramount. So there was supposed to, after Good Burger, there was supposed to be more movies. And Nickelodeon did not do that. They did more of TV movies. And so instead, even though Good Burger did great. And so that's how Two Heads Better Than None became.
Did that count as number 2 in the 3-picture deal?
That counted as a movie, right? So that's what happened. That's what counted. And so, like, actually, the last episode was the graduation episode. So remember the graduation?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
bulldozer and all that stuff like that. That was the last episode because in it you see that when I say, "Oh, here it goes," and then I go and get all the stuff that he asked. So that was supposed to be like the full finale. That's the last one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then Two Heads Are Better Than None. The movie premiered, I believe, after that. So then that's what it made it seem as if like that was the last thing, but that was actually us just contractually doing
fulfilling that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you say that you all collectively decided not to renew, does that include the network, or when you guys decided that you weren't into it anymore, did Nickelodeon want you to come back for more?
Yeah, later we decided like we were trying to take it to another way of like the college years.
Yeah.
Something like that. You know, Kenan and Kel, the college years. We even had meetings with other networks as far as doing that.
Okay.
And switching up the show a little bit, but it just didn't work out. Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy because as from the fan perspective, I feel like we never got official closure. You know, like when they announced like, okay, the Fresh Prince finale, like it's over. Watch this episode, or the Friends finale, like that's it. In your head, man, what are those characters doing right now? Like what did they grow up to be?
I don't know. I mean, that's the conversation a lot of us have as far as like, where it could go as far as like Kenan and Kel. And shout out to Kim Bass, who created the show. Because I think that we don't mention him a lot, and we need to. You know what I'm saying? Man.
Yeah, sister, like legendary.
Black legendary creator. He did Sister Sister in our show, so shout out to him as well. And I feel like if he was more a part of the show too, as well, to take those characters to other places, that would be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. We got to see where that is. I mean, the fans would love to see us getting together again, but I feel like we did do a nice finale, meaning that we got all the stuff together, and I love that the fans still love it. And there's something out there, like everybody we know seeing Fresh Prince of Bel-Air coming back, and all these different shows. I heard Martin is coming back, so people want Kenan and Kel to come back as well. And we have some more surprises we're doing this year.
Okay,
that we are doing for you guys, so it's not like we got more surprises for you guys. Yeah,
I love that, man, because I heard you tell Keke Palmer that you would be down for a reboot. At this point in your life, you have experience as a writer and as a producer. Is that something that you would ever be interested in spearheading yourself?
What, the Kenan and Kel? Yeah, I mean, my thing is like now what Kenan and I are looking at are like, newer things and fun things that what we can do as far as like being a comedic duo. You know what I'm saying? As far as like comedic duo. And I think that's something that our fans always wanted us to explore instead of just going back to Kenan and Kel. It's more of like, hey, let's see them in this action flick together. Let's see them this comedy together, like, things of that nature. I think that's
right. Yeah.
Where we're taking it now.
I mean, like Abbott and Costello, like, we would see them doing all kinds of different genres together. I mean, it was comedy, but they were doing horror and they were doing mystery, right? And it was, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
that's
Exactly.
that's what's up, man. To take it back to, the beginning of the show, Mavis and Clavis was when y'all discovered that, that was the moment that you and Kenan kind of discovered, and everybody discovered, like, oh, they have this chemistry that continued off set. And that's when Brian and Mike told you guys, stay back during the all that hiatus and let's film a pilot for your own show. At that point, had Kim Bass been like sort of secretly writing this show and then they pitched at you guys, or like after they told you guys, that's when they started developing it?
They started, I mean, when they came to us, they had already been talking already, because they had saw Kenan and I both on and off set. So they
Yeah.
had already been having conversations together about, making a show around us that would be a sitcom. And then Kim just created this amazing, backdrop for Kenan and Kel and story that just really worked. And yeah, man, it just worked. It was fun. And it was cool to be able to be doing a sketch comedy show and then also do a sitcom as well.
Yeah. No, most definitely, man.
Yeah.
Did you ever sense an energy change on the all that set that you guys kind of, you were also perhaps now the biggest stars there?
I wouldn't say the energy change. I feel like it was more so we all were experiencing this because no one knew that the show was going to take off like it did. You know what I mean? And then also for all that in Kenan and Kel to take off like it did. And you got to remember that, we were teenagers at this time. You know what I mean? And so it was just kind of like the fandom just went crazy because Nickelodeon had never done anything like this before. You know what I mean?
Completely different,
So
yeah.
they had never done anything like this before. And people just really gravitated towards it, like, yo, it got music, it's got sketch comedy, this is great. So they just really gravitated towards it, man. And, shout out to people still enjoying it to this day. You know what I mean? And my main thing is just, I'm going to give you 110% of, each character that I'm going to bring to the table. You know what I mean? And so, and I just felt like, I got to make this the funniest thing. And I wanted to make everybody laugh. Like I wanted to make all the cameramen laugh.
Yeah.
I wanted to make the whole crew laugh. And when you hear the whole crew laughing in the background, that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? And it was like, just a big family, you know what I mean? And us, it was fun. I mean, if it was any competition, it was friendly competition.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? As
okay.
far as just like, go as far as possible to make everybody laugh. And I think we did a great job of that because, everybody at home is laughing as well.
Yeah.
And we still get that to this day. You know what I mean? So I just, in anything that you do, give 110%. You know what I mean? Yeah.
You did give it 110% because that comedy is timeless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of comedy is not timeless, and that is to this day it holds up. Like I watch that shit and I'm laughing just as hard as I did when I was a kid, and it's not just me viewing it through nostalgia goggles. It's like, oh, this is funny. You know what I mean?
Man, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. How did Coolio doing the theme song come about? Whose idea was that? Because that was such a dope and kind of un-Nickelodeon like idea for the time. But yeah, how did that come to be?
Man, again, shout out to our music director and shout out to everyone that just wanted to be on the show. You know what I mean? Like hip hop was very important to us, and we were a very diverse cast, which was cool too. You know what I mean? And so it was cool when Coolio decided, because he had already did all that a sketch already.
Right. Yeah.
With Good Burger. And so then we already had like this amazing song from all that with TLC. So it's kind of like, all right.
It's a high standard. Yeah.
Yeah, Coolio came in and did his thing, and both, are still amazing songs. Like you could play both of those in the club or, at a party.
Let me tell you, Coolio, may he rest in peace.
Yeah, man. Good.
I went to college in Boston, and in 2008, in my freshman year, Coolio came to do a show at the school, and he did maybe like a hour long set, and it was hype, but nothing was more hype than at the end, we were all in the audience. All of us were chanting Kenan and Kel, Kenan and Kel, Kenan and Kel. And then when you hear the whole place went buck, bro. Like I can't even the energy from that concert is probably unparalleled to maybe anything else I've ever been at.
Yeah, bro. It's awesome. I mean, like I said, when I saw him on tour performing it and doing it, and so that was always cool that he would add that to his set. Because I mean, he had legendary songs. He didn't have to. He didn't have to add the Kenan and Kel show to it.
Right, of
So
course.
it was just so awesome that he did that. And,
Yeah.
yeah, and he told me, he was just like, yeah, the fans go crazy, when they hear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
man. For you guys, like, okay, boom, you got your own show, and now you're shooting a lit music video with Coolio on City Walk in Orlando. I mean, what a feeling that must have been as a teen, man.
oh yeah, like I said, these are, artists that I was listening to, break dancing to, dancing to,
Right.
and then now I'm working with them, hanging out with them on set. So definitely a surreal moment, blessed moment to be a part of,
Yeah. So in Kenan and Kel, was there a lot of room for improv? Because you and Kenan, so much of your interactions seem like natural riffing as opposed to written lines.
Yeah, same thing. So this was our same writers that were on all that. They were over there. So it was like a lot of fun to be able to just play within that world. Like they would say, hey, do it this way once, the way
Right.
we wrote it, and then go off. You know what I mean? And do
Yeah.
improv. And so Kenan and I both were very good at improving, and even at such a young age. And hey, thank God for that talent to be able to do that. And so yeah, it was just fun. It was just fun. A lot of fun to be doing that. Yeah.
I heard you say that like I dropped the screw in the tuna. That's probably top 5, legendary moments from that show. You did that you did like 25 takes of that.
Yeah, we did. So Brian directed that episode, I believe. Yeah, he did. And he was just like, I want to see how far Kel's gonna take it, because it was a thing of, throughout the entire episode, I'm holding this information.
Yeah.
That I put the screw in the tuna. And how comedic can we go as far as like him telling the truth at the end of it all and falling over? So, like when I fell over the judge and then did the things with my legs, all that crazy stuff. Yeah, man, I just wanted, like I said, I wanted to make everybody, like the audience, laugh, because we had audience shows.
Yeah.
And then also the entire crew. And when you got the camera shaking and stuff like that, I was like, okay, let me see if I can take it up even more,
Yeah.
And make Kenan laugh too, because that was a thing too. We both would try to make each other laugh. That's why he's such a beast on SNL, I believe, too. Because that's the thing, like we would try to make each other laugh like crazy, you know what I mean? And with the looks that we would do, all those different things.
Yeah. Well, to be able to keep that level of energy for that many takes, God bless you, man. That's a testament to your talent, bro. Wow.
I appreciate it, man.
You guys also experienced the switch from filming in Orlando to LA, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the show all that came out there first to LA, and then after that we had the Kenan and Kel show come to LA. And yeah, man, it was dope. It was dope coming to LA and being out here and doing the show too as well. Yeah.
Did you have a preference? Or did you feel anything changed because of the location switch?
Not really. I feel like, obviously we were growing up and you know what I'm saying? We were growing up, and that would definitely be the switch of it all. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
As far as like the show and as far as like us bringing it, with the same energy, of course, Orlando would always have a special place to all of us, because that was like the beginning of it all. You know what I mean?
Right.
Fly
Yeah.
out there and all of us being very young. But then, the cast switched up a lot too. If you're talking about all that, you know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah.
The original OGs, were in Orlando, and then, it started to switch up from there. But it's just like any other sketch comedy show, you know what I mean? Where, you have players that come in and out, different cast members. Yeah.
Speaking of the cast, from Kenan and Kel, are you in touch with Vanessa, Alexis Fields, Dan Frischman? Are you in touch with anybody from the show still?
Yeah. You're talking about Kenan and Kel?
Kenan and Kel, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We all stay in contact. even on all that, everybody, and especially now with, the nostalgia of it all, we're
Yeah.
all doing like events together and things of that nature. So it's been great. You know what I mean? Like I said, we grew up together, you know what I mean? So it's been cool to like see everybody and just see how everybody's doing and us all hanging out. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
When you started all that, did you essentially finish school from the sort of like studio teacher, homeschool type of vibe, or did you go back for school at all to Chicago?
I stayed in school. So some of the kids, they decided to do just like straight tutors and stuff like that. But I wanted to finish out my, being in high school. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so I wanted to finish it out. But yeah, on those hiatus, I would go back and shout out to my teachers at CVS High School. Shout out, what up, y'all?
Yeah.
They would send our work over, and we had on location education, obviously, like all studio kids, and we would have to go to school and do all the same work as my peers were doing and my friends were doing in Chicago. I had to do the same work while working.
Yeah.
So working all those different hours and in between each break, go back and actually do my work and send it off. And so shout out to my teachers for, being down to do that. That was cool. And then again, and I was able to graduate on time. So that was cool.
Man,
Yeah.
what is it like being a regular high school student while you're on a hit show? Are you getting mad love? Are there people just hating on you, like, or just probably a mix of both?
It was a mix, but I think what happened was that in our audience, our audience was like would stop around like freshman year, right? So you're saying like I was a senior or junior. A lot of the seniors and the juniors weren't watching all that at that
Sure.
point.
Yeah.
And so, and sophomores, so they weren't really watching it. But then I remember there was and you got to remember too, it's not like now where you can film something and everything's on Instagram and TikTok already and they know you're filming.
Right.
Like we would film and then some months would go by. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah,
the summer,
yeah.
then the show would come out. So when it started really getting popping, I remember the freshmen and the sophomores too, they would start screaming and stuff like that. So it was a little hard towards the end, but by that time I was graduating, so it was all good.
Right, right. Okay.
Yeah, it was all good, because I graduated in '96. So, but it was wild. Like certain places we couldn't go. Like if it was anything that was junior high or younger, it was pandemonium. Like
I
kids
bet.
running after us and all kind of stuff. And so I would just kind of dip in and out. You know what I mean?
Right.
School when I was there, but then I was also too. I was mostly in Orlando or in LA. So
Did you ever have moments where, and I asked this because I'm thinking about myself as a teenager, how I would have handled this. As a teen, I probably would have been like, let me purposely go into public so that people will give me attention. Did you ever do that?
Yeah, there was certain malls and stuff like we would do that. We would go to malls and we would go to places and let everybody just kind of go crazy. But
Yeah.
it would get a little wild and certain places I didn't want people to know. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Of
I was
course.
even up in there. I wanted to dip in and out because I knew it would be pandemonium. You
It
know
would
what I
get
mean?
wild, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I've heard some of the stories. I know one time a girl who was cashing you out at the grocery store just went on the PA system and told everybody that Kel was in the building.
I was in the building. I was signing autographs and all that stuff like that. Yeah, man, it got pretty wild. But yeah, I'm totally fine with it. Like even to this day, I love it. Shout out to the fans. Like they still are super excited. With this, with the Good Burger 2 being back too as well.
Yeah.
But even before Good Burger 2 was out, I mean, I was still doing work in Nickelodeon and then also other things. And it's just been great, over the years. Like my fan base is little kids and then all the way up because, Clifford the Big Red Dog, I got
Yes, of course.
super young, kids that enjoy my work and then, people my age as well, all the way up. So it's been great.
Do you have a favorite episode of Kenan and Kel?
I really like the Thanksgiving episode. That was funny.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that with the turkey. And so I love posting that one, every Thanksgiving because that was a fun one.
Yeah.
And then, really, I really enjoy like the first and second season of Kenan and Kel were like, I feel like were the really golden ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like it had that timeless sitcom, like I Love Lucy, type of feel that you can just like the comedy of it all was like really, really cool. So but yeah, man, the sweater episode where I mess up Kenan's
Yo.
sweater. Yeah, I mean that's a great one just with the physical comedy in that, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what's up, man. What about favorite, behind the scenes moments?
Oh man, there's a bunch. There's a bunch. I don't know if it's the ones that I can really talk about. But yeah, man, we had
You
a
had
lot
a
of
good
fun.
time, yeah.
Yeah, you could imagine. You could imagine.
During points in your life when you had stuff going on that was rough for you, did you feel like it was ever affecting you on set, or when you were on set, it was like, I'm still having a fun time with everybody?
I think I mean, and I'll talk about this a lot of time with, with mental health and letting people know these different things, it's kind of like it was work, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
you would kind of have to put whatever was going on in your life in the back and work, you know what I mean? And do your job, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But at the same time, you need to be able to express yourself and say what's going on, you know what I mean? Whatever it is that you were dealing with, stress or anything like that. But yeah, man, it was just more of like, I wouldn't say that it was a thing where it like replaced it, where it's just like, hey, I'm working on set and this is what the thing that makes me feel, good. But it was more of like, just this is my job. And then as I was adulting within doing this, that was the thing where like figuring out life while also being on television and being in the limelight, it can be a big strain on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear
Yeah.
you, man.
But it was but yeah, man, figured it out and thank God still here, still doing it. And finding real purpose in life, you know what I mean, is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever get to keep any props from the show, like the tuba phone or like Robo McFist or anything?
My parents have a lot of stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I was just
Yeah.
like, yo, they have a lot of fun things, and they'll break them out, like certain jackets and shirts and things that were on the
Yo, the
show.
fashion on that show
So,
was incredible. Like, even when you watch it back now, you're like, damn, you and Kenan were just dripping all the time.
yeah, bro. I mean, shout out to our wardrobe team, Bruce, I believe that was his name. Shout out to our wardrobe team, and yeah, man, we just had we had fun, man. Like I was saying, like really hip hop around that time, which was
Hmm.
amazing. The drip, the clothing, Kanai, Fat Farm, all those different things, and they would lace us up, So it was just kind of cool to have that style. Like I'm kind of known as the snapback guy because I was always wearing the snapbacks on the show, and that happened because I remember when we got to Florida and they wanted to cut my hair. So I allowed them to cut my hair, but I don't remember the guy's name that cut it. But I remember he cut my hair and he did like this ball cut, and I'm like, no, bro, like I'm saying that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. And so I started wearing snapbacks I found in the wardrobe, and then it just became my thing. I was always wearing these cool snapbacks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Well, it
Yeah.
was it was you and Will Smith that inspired my big snapback obsession that is lasting to this day. So that's facts.
Man, shout out to Will.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, talking about the cultural impact, man, you guys crossed over on Sabrina, ABC primetime slot. Yeah, and I can't imagine behind the scenes red tape that had to occur for, to make something like that happen. What was your favorite crossover? What, you guys did Cousin Skeeter, did Sabrina, you and Kenan were on Sister Sister. What was your favorite one?
I would say I love doing. I mean, Sister Sister was awesome,
Yeah.
and it was just like getting all the Avengers together. You know what I mean? Because that was Kim's other show, so that was cool to have that happen. And then also too, Steve Harvey. We love
Yeah.
being on the Steve Harvey show because um, love watching that show and being able to play different characters in a whole different world with a sitcom that wasn't so kid-like, you know what I mean? So that was fun. That was fun to be able to do that. Yeah. And a
Yeah.
lot of my friends were on that show too as well. So that was cool, man. Yeah.
That's what's up, man. Going forward right now, what are your specific goals as an actor, if any? Like on your bucket list, do you have folks you want to work with? genres? What are some things that you want to accomplish as an artist?
Yeah, man. So we're working on doing an action film. We're definitely doing I like you said, I produce, I write. I've been in this business a long time. I work with a lot of fun players. It's a lot of fun stuff that's coming out.
I remember Dance Fu, man.
Thank you, man. Yeah, so it's a lot of fun stuff coming out this year and next that we have that's going on that I'm excited about. When I did Dance Food about a guy that can only fight when music is playing, and then to have Tommy Davidson being there. I mean, that was the thing. Like every time you see me, something that I produced, I'm gonna reach out to the people that inspire me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Work with Cedric. We were on the Steve Harvey show together.
Yep.
So, that's what it's all about, man.
Are you a martial arts practitioner?
Yeah, Taekwondo and Kung Fu. Yeah.
That's what's up, man. Well, same.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up, man. Okay, you had Ty Hodges in that movie. He's a dope dude too. I had him on the podcast.
Yeah, shout out to Ty. Yeah, that's my boy right there, man. Had me rolling.
Yeah.
I always think about the scene when I was playing the villain, and I told him to apologize in different ways. If you haven't seen the movie, go get Dance Food, you guys. You know what we're talking about, and. He killed it. And that movie had a lot of improv too in it as well. So
yeah, man. Okay, so that's dope. All right, so we will be looking forward to some Kel action coming out.
Yeah, man. Some action, some comedy.
Nice.
More books as well because I'm a writer. So
I was about to ask, is Prank Day turning into a series? Are we going to see new stuff?
An animated film. We're excited about that. The book is done.
Let's go.
So I'm excited about that.
Is that animated film like in development, greenlit? It's going?
In development. I'm excited about that. Blast Mode 2, we decided to do anime and Christianity, kind of put that together. I've been throwing a lot of teasers out there because shout out to Veggie Tales, that's awesome Christian animation, but we need some more too, you know what I mean? So let's get like that Christian Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, that Christian, you know what I'm saying, anime cartoon. So I'm definitely working on that with my production company, so we're excited.
That's what's up, man. Okay, I'm looking forward to it. If you could bring back just one thing from the 90s, what would it be?
One thing from the 90s, what would it be? I'm doing well from the night. It feels like everything is coming back already as far as outfits and things like that. But just to make it fun, since we were talking about MC Hammer, parachute pants. Let's bring
yes. Let's go.
Let's bring it back because everybody was rocking it. Even in the gym, everybody was rocking it. You know what I'm saying? So that'd be cool, man. Bring the parachute pants back. With the wild colors too, all that stuff like that. Let's
go, man. Kel, man, yeah. I cannot thank you enough, not only for your time today, but really and truly for the wonderful memories. Kenan and Kel was so significant for me that my whole family would sit down to watch it, grandparents included. Even though I know that for some of that, you were going through stuff, you were still spreading so much joy and laughter to people. And for that reason, man, you will always have a special place in our hearts. And it's a pretty amazing feeling for me right now that I can chat with you and I can call you a friend. That's just blowing my mind, man. So thank you so much. Lots of gratitude.
Man, thank you. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Continue success, continue blessings, man. Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, until next time, I'm all grown up.
I'm all grown up. SYKE.